We're live. Good morning. Good morning. All right, so today's live stream is about making excuses as a aspiring wannabe content creator, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, this is what's coming up for me today. So today I'm dealing with this issue of I'm noticing that I'm making excuses to start producing shorts and to start making videos. I'm holding off on going through my script and finishing my formatting. And I noticed that I'm making excuses. I'm delaying doing those things, like making the shorts, making my profile picture and all these things, because I'm waiting for the equipment. So I ordered like what the YouTubers are ordering, or the major YouTubers are doing, like streamers, and I'm making myself wait to create that content. And if this is you, then I suggest you tap this out with me, because if there's one thing that I've learned is don't fucking wait. Don't make excuses, because when you make excuses and when you wait for that perfect moment, that moment never comes, and that moment is fucking gone. And for me personally, I also realize, and I am aware, that if I get deported because I filed for asylum here or whatever, because I'm out of status in this country, if I get deported, all that equipment that I spent money on, the key light, the backdrop, and I think that's about it actually. But if I wait for that and then I get deported, I'm not going to be able to use that. It's useless. It's pointless. So I'm saying this because you may be in a similar situation where you're waiting. You're like, oh, I don't have the right gear yet. I don't have the right camera. I don't have the right thing. Look, let me tell you something. In 2017, my personal training business was struggling, and I went to a tarot reader. I had a girlfriend at the time who was watching this tarot reader. She said, hey, why don't you do a session with this tarot reader? So I did. And this tarot reader said, oh, you're a light worker. You're gonna, you can share this message with the world, and you can do what I can do with this tarot reading stuff. What you have to do is just post videos, etc., on YouTube. Not knowing anything about the tarot, not knowing anything about that subject, I proceeded to make those videos. And I did that with a cracked screen smartphone. So I had this Motorola. I should have kept it, but that was me. I was the type of guy that I get rid of something and then I replace it with something else so that I keep more of a minimalist profile, but it has memories now. And I realized that when I started that YouTube channel in 2017, I started it with a smartphone that had a cracked screen on it. I did everything from that phone. I made the thumbnails, I made the profile picture, I made everything from that smartphone. And guess what happened? To my surprise, the very next day, I had over 100 subscribers. And then a few months later, I grew the channel up to 15,000 subscribers. I would ultimately stop making YouTube videos on that channel because that was not who I was. That was not aligned to me. That was not what I wanted to do. And the thought of making these videos every single week and then every single month for 12 zodiac signs was fucking no, not a chance. What I realized worked about that though was I was catering to a specific audience. I was catering to a specific zodiac sign because let's be honest, everyone has an ego, not in a negative way. Everyone has an ego, and everyone is concerned with themselves. So I was able to tap into that at that time and realize, oh, this is what's making people click. They click because it's about them. Obvious. YouTube, it's about you. For some channels, it's about them and the other people just watch. That's fine. But for most people, it's about them and what they need. And they need that educational component. And they need to learn how to do certain things. So I realized this. With that trial, with that period. I had another YouTube channel before. This is, I think, I don't know what number I'm on right now for a YouTube channel. But every single iteration, I realized, okay, there's something here to learn. And with the previous personal training YouTube channel, I realized, okay, I was like begging people to subscribe to the channel. I had no idea how to make content. And this was around 2014, 15 or something like this. Or 13, maybe even 2013 or something. And at that time, there was the level of content that existed then versus today, incomparable. You had to do clickbait stuff and, yeah, I remember that time. I remember the era of clickbaiting YouTubers, right? So they're getting you to click on something because that was what the YouTube algorithm favored at that time. Getting back to the point of that is that during those times, I did not make excuses. I just did it. The landscape has changed, however, that I see, especially since 2017, to where now there's a massive opportunity. There's a massive advantage with AI if someone knows how to do it right. And I've been thinking about this. Because I have another company that I've been wanting to get set up called lifepurpose.com that I'm doing this with my partner. And I told her, like, we're gonna have to hold off right now because I have to build the proper system for this. But you see, that's another excuse. Me holding off. But again, what do you do if it takes you 8 hours or more to create content? It's fucking crazy. Versus today, right now, with the right AI tools, you could create content that is done in seconds. Like, I kid you not. There were times where I was creating content. I was writing blog posts that would take me 8 fucking hours. 8 hours. One. Why? Because I'm doing all the research. I'm making sure I do the backlinks and everything like this. And that's just a fucking blog post. Because I didn't have cash to hire a fucking writer. A good one at least. You know how much writers were at that time? Some wanted like $500 a post. That's a lot of money. And think about that. If you do content, like, if you do one blog post even a week. One blog post a week, are you fucking crazy? That's gonna add up unless you have like a huge budget. Don't. But that brings me to this live stream and this topic of feeling really inauthentic, feeling like you're making excuses. I made the live stream before on that topic, inauthentic. Today is not that. Today is making excuses. And I'm just mindfully becoming aware of the words that I speak. And I am also becoming more mindful of how I say things. Very interesting to do this. The hell? Did it just get darker in here? What the fuck? Okay, I think that's a bit brighter. And I've been noticing that this time around, I have been making excuses. This time around, I have been holding off on making the shorts, on creating the systems or whatever. I know that I'm also recovering from a traumatic experience with the custody removal with my daughter, because we said no to a non-life-saving surgery here in Austria, and this is a very state-owned type of system here we have with the medical, and it's very coercive and it's very deceitful, and how do you say, like, they're gonna get you if you say no, if you do the opposite of what they want you to do. So because we said no, because we were looking for alternatives, we were researching alternatives, they did not accept that. So I'm recovering from that. I'm noticing I'm getting better though about talking about that. I don't feel so much anger. Are you making excuses though? Are you making excuses to not finish getting started? Are you making excuses to not get started? Are you making excuses by holding off on doing certain things that you want to be doing if you want to be a content creator? And if that's the case, if any of the above is yes, then tap with me. Tap with me. I gotta get better at doing this intro stuff. All right, my name is Gabriel Serra, and you're joining me live. This is me. So now that we've got that out the way, let's begin with a prayer. And then we're going to transition, and then we're going to go from there. See, I'm getting better at this. Just one video at a time, one live stream at a time. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive. Again. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgive our debtors as we forgive our debts. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive our trespassors. Forgive our trespassers as we forgive our trespasses. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you, God, for this day. Thank you, God, for this live stream. Thank you, God, for the opportunity to help heal and release and let go of what no longer serves. Thank you. All right, let's begin with the EFT setup statement. I invite you to tap with me. And let's move on. So you're making excuses because, why? You're making excuses very likely because there is a memory or an emotional charge or a belief stored in your subconscious mind, or an emotional charge stored in your nervous system that is preventing you from doing the thing, which is content creation or whatever it could be, fill in the blank. And you're making these excuses. You're saying, oh, I have to wait for this time. I have to wait for this experience. I have to wait for this. I have to wait for that thing. That's like someone saying, they're waiting to exercise because they're waiting for shoes to exercise. Yeah, the shoes would be nice to exercise, sure, but you've got your body. You can do squats. As long as you have a smartphone, as long as you have one of these guys, you can make all the content you want really easily. Really, really, really easily. And it's not complicated. Very easy. Doesn't mean people will watch it though. It does not mean people will watch it. But what it does mean is you are engaged in the process of doing that. You are building a habit. You're building the muscle, the metaphorical muscle of being consistent, and you're making it a habit for yourself. So let's figure out why we're making excuses. Why am I making excuses to not start doing shorts and making videos? Why am I making excuses for that? Is it really because I'm waiting for the equipment? Is it really because I'm waiting for this? Yes, there's a part of me that's thinking, well, I'm going to shave my beard. I'm going to get a haircut so I can take a profile picture, because chances are I probably won't take a profile picture for quite some time. So I want to make sure that I have the equipment. I want to make sure I have the chroma key. Make sure I do this so that I don't have to do this again, because this does take time to do this. And especially because I'm doing this by myself, it does take time to do this. I understand those elements of it. But to say I can't make a video because I don't have a camera when I have a smartphone, that's not the right reason. There's something much deeper. There's something much deeper. And if you look at I've been live streaming every day for like the last 42 days, now 43. This is the 43rd video, right? Live stream and video combined. This is the 43rd one. And was I gonna wait until I had all the equipment to do this? No, I just literally started, and I just started getting the equipment as I went along. And here I am now. And I didn't make any excuses for that, but I'm making excuses for something else. Maybe that's the case for you. And if that is the case for you, let's begin right now. Starting with the setup statement. Even though I am making excuses, I choose to let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I am making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I am making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Okay, that's already giving me a clue right there. And that's very likely, very, very likely that's connected to a stuckness. And that's already giving me a clue that stuckness could be something about a trapped emotion or a memory that could have been very traumatizing. Making excuses. Even though I am making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. I have an idea. Even though I have been making excuses, I choose to move forward now. There we go. Okay, that was the first round over. Let's freestyle. Making excuses. All right, as we do this, I want you to imagine there's a big ass projector on your screen, okay? And this projector, I want you to visualize on this projector, maybe a memory is coming up right now. Maybe some experience is coming up for you right now where you have been making something or doing something and you're just doing it. But then something happens and then moving forward, you stop doing it. You stop believing that what you're doing is not enough. It's not good enough. My example right now, what's coming up for me is related to art. So I'm going to tap as I'm telling you this story. And I want you to start thinking about what is your story? What is the thing that has happened for you or to you? What was the experience for you that prevented you from moving forward, like having, taking action, okay? So, hear me out. There was this time when I was around 10 or 11 years old. I used to enjoy drawing. And I especially like to draw Dragon Ball Z characters. I especially like to draw Goku and Vegeta. And I used to enjoy drawing those characters. One day, I was drawing Chris Jericho. Ah, yes, I was drawing Chris Jericho. I remember it now. So in addition to Dragon Ball Z, being a fan of Dragon Ball Z, I was also a big fan of wrestling. The WWF at the time, then transitioned to WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. So I was a huge fan. And I had a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt that I got from WWF New York. I remember that. They're no longer around at the WWF New York City, the restaurant. And I remember I also had a Chris Jericho Y2J shirt. I remember that. And this Chris Jericho Y2J shirt, I was drawing. I was trying to imitate and draw Chris Jericho, like make a sketch of Chris Jericho. However, I'm not a talented artist. That's okay. I could have built up that skill just like that other kid, the Spanish kid that would go on the New York City trains. Oh, what's his name? Oh, that would be interesting to know his name, actually. Come on. What's the name of the social media influencer who asks people if he can draw them on the New York City trains? I could have kept going and I could have improved just like that kid. And I remember watching a video of his story and how his drawings sucked, just like mine. But the difference is he kept drawing. The difference is he kept improving. The difference is he kept showing up to be consistent. And then, oh my goodness, yes, Devon Rodriguez. Yes, exactly. That young man, yes. He kept improving at his craft. He kept improving at what he enjoyed doing. And he got so good. His pictures, his portraits were so like realistic. It was absolutely beautiful. And it was even more beautiful to see the reaction of people that absolutely enjoyed what he was doing, the reaction of the people that enjoyed seeing like how he transformed that art into something magnificent. That was fantastic to see. That was absolutely fantastic to see. He improved. Devon Rodriguez, he improved a lot. And here I am making these drawings in the sketching, right? So I'm making the sketching of Chris Jericho. And as I am making the sketching of Chris Jericho, I had an uncle. He was notorious for being an asshole. So I'm just using that as like the setup right there of this whole story. So he was notorious for being an asshole. And he, for whatever reason, he's over at our place. And as he's about to leave, he comes into my room to see what I'm doing. And then he sees that I'm drawing something. He sees that I'm drawing something. I'm drawing Chris Jericho. And then he asked me what I'm doing. And at that time, I was like that kid. I noticed that maybe this is me, or maybe this is all kids, but there's kids that like, if they're doing something, they want you to see. They want you to see what they're doing so that you can praise them and then you can validate them. So that was me. I was that kid where I wanted like, hey, See what I'm doing. And I remember him asking me what I was drawing, and I showed him, and then he laughed. And not only did he laughed hysterically. He laughed so hard. He laughed so hard at that drawing, that Chris Jericho drawing. He laughed so hard. He laughed so hard that I felt like shit. I felt like ass. I felt not good enough. I felt horrible. And I tell you what, ever since that time, it would be about 24 years before I would actually draw again. It would be 24 fucking years. 24 fucking years before I would ever draw again. $24 fucking years. Oh, come on. No. Huh? Oh, man. I don't think I can find it. Oh, damn it. I found it the other day, though. No, damn it. I really don't know where it is. Shit. Where is the thing? Oh, man. Come on, Gabe. Really? We're gonna do this? Damn it. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah, that's where I thought it was. Why would I have it all the way out here? Fucking hidden. Come on, man. All right, there's a point to why I'm fucking procrastinating here, or well, not procrastinating. That's a lie. That's another lie. There is a reason as to why I am doing this, because this is what I want to show. This is what I'm trying to show here. And it's no, hey, look at me. Look at me. Look at what I did. It's none of that. It's none of that. Okay. I think, yes. All right, perfect. Cool. Yes. Okay, cool. Perfect. So, here's what I'm trying to show you. here's what I'm trying to show you here is, can I get this fucking thing? Oh boy. Oh boy. Yes. Oh, but then you don't want to do that. Oh, damn it. All right, good enough. Good enough is good enough, right? Good enough is good enough. Damn, that's ass. Come on, why would you do this? Because you want to be seen, Gabriel. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Boom, there you go. Star of the show. That's you right now. Not much longer. Okay. So the point of that story here. Actually, let's bring up Devon Rodriguez's artwork as too. I want to see his art. There you go, that guy. Devon Rodriguez. And this is his art. He's a very good artist. He's so great. Very proud of him. Can we see his art? Yeah. Wow. This is so incredible. Subway drawings. There we go. Wow. Look at this. Look at this guy. My God. What a talent. But you know how he got there? He got there by doing the work. Look at this. Look at how incredible this is. He got there by doing all of this work all the time, all the time. I remember someone did a portrait of me in the subways. I don't have it anymore. I don't think it was so great, but hey, the guy was doing it, and that made him happy, and that put a smile on my face, and I'm sure that this put all a smile on everyone else's face that did this. Now, the point of this is, for the making excuses, would Devon Rodriguez have gotten to this point where now he's putting so many smiles on so many people's faces, had he been this type of person that was just so focused on being perfect and just allowing the outer world to get him to the point where he's so affected by these things where he's making excuses? I don't think so. And like I was saying, it would be another 20 something years for me after the point where that uncle, after he was criticized, like he was laughing at me and basically saying like my drawing sucked, where I gave up, I stopped drawing. I really enjoyed drawing. I really, really enjoyed it. And I think that really did affect the trajectory of my life. I really do, because at that time I wanted to be a video game designer, and I wanted to work with video games a lot. I really was so captivated by like Final Fantasy VII, and I wanted to make that like a career. And I never did. I thought, okay, I'm not good enough, I'm shit. So I have to do something else. And maybe that was what led me to this. Maybe this is where I am now. Maybe this is part of my purpose. But it was one of those situations where I just never touched it again until about wow, my God, 3 years ago now. Over 3 years ago now. A few months prior to me making the first video, the first drawing that I would make, and I'll show you this in the screen in a second. 6 months prior, or a few months prior, I would work with someone that would help me clear the emotional charge to that experience, to what happened, to the trauma of that memory. And as I worked on this, as I worked through this traumatic experience, as I cleared the emotional charge to this, one day I just said, fuck it. I got myself a Wacom tablet, and then I started drawing. I got myself like one of those Photoshop things, Clip Studio Paint. And then I would go on to draw. Oh, that wasn't the first drawing. Oh, that's anticlimactic. That's so anticlimactic. I think it was in March or something like this. May, April, there we go. Was it here? There we go. Perfect. All right, cool. Yeah, that's anticlimactic. All right. That's what I would draw. So all those years later, that's what I would draw. And that for me was a big step. That for me was a big deal. Sure, it looks like, a child may have done it. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. I have not been developing this skill. And that's not the point though. I'm not going to go pro at being a drawer or artist. I'm not going to go pro at that stuff. And that was never the point. The point was to heal the wound. The point was to heal the wound that I was carrying inside. And the wound that I was carrying inside was that I suck. I'm not good enough. And that wound would keep me from pursuing the things that I really wanted to do. And the point of me bringing that up today, right now, on this live stream, to stop making excuses, is because that's the same for you. You probably are very talented. You probably have a massive gift that you want to share with the world, but you're not. Even though you have this gift, even though you have this capacity to share something really special with the world, you're making excuses. Why are you making excuses? Very likely it's because there was that uncle or that mother or that friend or that someone in your life that you cared enough about what they said that it affected you. It affected you on a deep, deep level, and it left a wound. It left a scar. And that scar traumatized you, left you incapable of proceeding. And ever since that time, you're making excuses. Ever since that time, you're making excuses. You're telling yourself why you can't do something, not doing it. Making a lot of excuses. So many excuses that you just stop. You just stop. And this was the case for me for all these years. I was making excuses. I had quit at doing something that I really enjoyed, Even if it would have been a hobby, even if I would have never gone pro with it, I quit. I stopped drawing. From that age of 10 or 11 years old, what that uncle said to me, or the way that that uncle reacted to me with the laughing, because that's all I remember in my memory. Maybe they said something else. I don't really know. Maybe they said nothing at all, and I'm just delusional. I don't know. What I do remember is the laughing. I do remember drawing Chris Jericho, that wrestler from wrestling, WWE, at that time WWF, drawing Chris Jericho, him coming into the room, laughing so hard, laughing hysterically, laughing at me hysterically, to the point where I just stopped drawing. I just stopped drawing. And I would look at people that could draw, never from a place of envy or jealousy, but from a place of, holy shit, wow, that's like, wow. So amazed that they could do that. So amazed that they could do that. And it would be over 24 years. It would be, wow. It would be 22 years. It would be about 22 years. Jesus Christ. It would be about 22, 23 years before I would actually draw again. And I never would have gotten there had I not healed the emotional core wound, had I not released what that experience meant. It was trapped in my nervous system. It was stuck in my subconscious mind. And every time that I would think about saying, hey, I want to draw, I wouldn't do it. I would make excuses to not do it. And it wasn't until I let go of that core reason, that core memory, when I made peace with it, and I removed that emotional charge from my nervous system, and I changed my perception around that experience from my subconscious mind, where then I would go on to do this. And I would then go on to create an entire library of photos, right? So this was day 1. And then I would do it again, day 2. And this was pencil and paper, okay? And then I did day 3. And then I did so on and so forth. And then it just kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going, and we kept going. And that was the thing for me. I realized that for me to be consistent, I had to keep going every single day. No matter how shit it was, no matter what people thought of it, it didn't matter. I just found a few minutes, I scheduled it into my calendar, and I just did the fucking thing. And I made it a point to do this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And there was nothing exciting about this. It was boring. But then I started to create things like this. I started to take a little bit more time. I started to put a little bit more love into it. And this is then when I got into the digital drawing, right? But it was never that I was exceptional. And I was never, it's still to this day probably not the best. It probably still sucks to this day. But I don't think that's the point. I don't think that that is the point at all. I think the point is that I just kept going at this thing. I think that's the point. I just kept going. I just kept drawing. I just kept documenting the experience day after day after day, starting in April of 2022 and just going day after day after day. Sometimes I draw the same thing, as you can see here. Sometimes I would just draw legitimately the same fucking thing, and I would just figure out how to use that tablet. I would just figure out how to use that drawing tablet, how to make those little sketches digitally, and I just kept going. And I just kept going. And this is Cody Rhodes. This is Cody Rhodes in May 2022, making just an outline of him. And then this was Seth Rollins. This was right? Some Asian girl. That reminds me of Pac-Man. And then this was Bianca Belair. This is a rose. Oh, but it's cutting off, man. What the heck? Oh, come on. Let's rewind here. Let's rewind, because this is pretty good. Yeah, that's Bianca Belair. That's a Pac-Man. That's some Asian girl. Seth Rollins. Cody Rhodes. And I just keep drawing these things over and over and over and over again. And I just kept doing this over and over again. Every single day, I would just make these drawings. Doesn't matter how good it was. Doesn't matter how bad it was. It just didn't matter to me. I just kept doing something because I enjoyed it. And it was bringing me a sense of joy. And it was keeping me going. And eventually someone would be like, okay. You know, I'm not saying that they were Picasso. But I think I could look at them now and be like, oh, wow, I actually did that. Like, how did I do that? I think about that when I look at these, like, how did I actually do that? Because I developed the skill. I learned how to use the software. I learned how to use the tools. And I just went for it. I just went for it. I was no longer making excuses is my point. I was no longer making excuses anymore to do the thing. I was actually just doing it. I was actually just drawing. I was just creating the things. And I would just find inspiration from YouTube. There was like a YouTube channel of a guy and he would draw these things and it was really cool. And I would just copy what he was doing. And I just did this for myself. And I mean, his YouTube channel was more for kids. It was more for how do I draw, like teaching kids how to draw stuff like this. And I just started doing it. I just started doing it because it just made me feel good. You know, the dates are out of order here. It's not really so organized, but you get my point. I would not have accomplished this had I not committed myself to just doing it every single day. Just like I'm doing over here with this live stream. I'm just doing it every single day. Doesn't matter if it's good or not. Would I like for it to work out? That's subjective. That's subjective. Come on, that's not the right word. I would like to get to a point where this can work. I did have a YouTube channel before. I could have kept going. I chose not to. And this was after I took Eyebrow in Costa Rica in 2020, like literally a week before the whole COVID stuff happened. And I chose not to. I chose not to at that time. I saw things going on in the world where I was just like, this isn't right. And I'm not going to contribute to this. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now. And I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on preserving my sanity, preserving my mental health. And that's what I did. And I would go on to learn trading in the financial markets. And while I was waiting for trades to set up to take, while I was waiting for setups to take, I would be doing things like this, like working on these drawings. I think this is Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. This is Parrot. But you get the point. And I made it a point to do this to take care of my mental health. This is supposed to be Richie Rich, the Monopoly guy, Donald Duck, or Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge McDuck. This is supposed to be Scrooge McDuck. What's impressive about this is I did this all standing. I did this standing with a tablet and I was just drawing these things. There was no like sitting down or whatever. It was just me always just standing. And I would just do this every single day. And I did this from April until December of that year. Every single day that year, April to December, starting from early April to December. And this was it. This was the work that I did. This is what I showed myself doing every day. This was me showing my work. The bigger thing behind this is that it mattered to me that I no longer was held captive by my emotions. I did not want to be stuck in the past. And for me, I'm showing this because this is symbolic of me having healed that internal wound. That's the Duolingo app bird. I wanted to heal this wound, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And I did not want to be stuck like this. I did not want to be this type of person that lived my life or would die with regrets and that would not be able to complete the thing. I wanted to have my drawings show that I was not going to allow the outer world to affect me. That's the donkey from Shrek. This is some sleeping guy. I never wanted that. I never wanted that for myself. Homer Simpson from The Simpsons. These were characters that I grew up watching, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to do these things. I wanted to show that I could do these things, Shrek from Shrek, and that I was good enough. And I think this was a good experience for me because it was, cathartic. It was like healing for me. And I never would have had that opportunity. I never would have had that opportunity to have let go of this core wound. And it was a core wound. It really hurt me deeply that this person who's supposed to be my family, who's supposed to be my uncle and supportive and etc., was laughing at me. You know, we don't need that. We don't need that in our lives. We need to be around supporting and loving people. This is Apu from Aladdin. This is Curious George from Curious George. This is my partner dressed as Wonder Woman. She kind of looks like John Travolta. I made her look like John Travolta. Yeah. But this is it. This was the work. This was the work that I had to do every single day to prove to myself that I was good enough. I didn't feel like I was good enough. I felt like I was shit. I felt like I was shit because of that uncle. I felt like I could not do anything. This was a dear friend of mine when I was a personal trainer at a gym. Fox. And it hurt. It really hurt. I was really hurt by that experience. I felt unsupported. Krusty the Clown from The Simpsons. I felt really unsupported, you know? Bart Simpson from The Simpsons. I felt very unsupported by that uncle, and I felt very unsupported by my family. And I think that's also why I quit a lot. Peter Griffin from, damn it, what's that show? What's the name? Peter Griffin from Peter Griffin. Ah, man, I don't know that show. I don't know the name. The ghost from Super Mario. Family Guy. There we go. Peter Griffin from Family Guy. Garfield from Garfield. So I would draw these characters. Humpty Dumpty, I think. The egg. Look how this evolved. Quagmire from Family Guy. Happy Cactus. I started adding more colors. Notice how, like, in the beginning, it was gray. My whole thing was gray. But then as I got this tablet and as I started using these tools, I started to add more colors. I started to add more things to get dynamic with it. And yeah, maybe someone would have never paid me for this. That's fine. That's really, really fine. at that point, it wasn't me, I'm going to say me saying, hey, I'm going to be passionate about this. This is Dumbo. It wasn't me saying I'm going to be passionate about this and I'm going to make this a career. It was just me saying, hey, I have to unfuck myself from this memory. I have to let go of what this experience means. And I have to get myself in a better psychological state. This is, I think, Tawali from South Park. I have to get myself in a better psychological state. I can't live my life this way where I am getting hurt by others. And I think this is also when I did close my heart a lot to the outer world. I closed my heart to people a lot. And I tried to put on that male tough guy exterior. And I tried to be more like aggressive as a man. And I wouldn't let people in, I'd call people like sissy and pussy and, stop being a faggot and all these things. And that's not the way to go. And I feel sad about that. I feel very hurt to say that. And I feel very uncomfortable saying that that's what I would say, But this was me when I was like 18, 19, 20 years old. I wasn't necessarily saying it like, oh, you're such a faggot or whatever. I would be like, oh man, stop being such a faggot. Like, I don't know how to explain that. It was just not, it was not the way to be. It was not the way to be. And that was very hurtful. That was very derogatory. And that was me trying to be macho and me trying to pretend to be something I wasn't. And I feel bad about those things. Obviously, I'm not going to call someone who is gay a faggot. That's really offensive. That's really offensive. And that also doesn't feel right to me. Because I do know people that are gay and they're the sweetest. They're the absolute sweetest. And I would never want to say something like that to hurt them, Never. That's not the point. That's not the point. Man, I really feel bad about that. I feel really bad about that. And I feel bad about that because that is how I felt. The hurt that I felt is probably what I was making other people feel. And that makes me feel hurt now at this stage. At this stage of my life, 36 now, going to be 37, father of 2 kids. I don't want them to ever go through that experience. I don't want them to ever hurt because I hurt them with my words and stuff. I would never want that. I would never want to hurt them to the point where they're so scarred that they never do the thing, And I know that was the case for Tyler Perry. He was really hurt by his father. His father was a dick. His father was a real dick to him and his mother and family. And you find out that it's his father's shit that he deals with. His father has his demons. And that's the shit that gets him. That's the shit that makes people cold and bitter and fucking angry. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. I don't want that at all. And this year I learned, especially in 2022, I learned that it's possible. Now at this time, mind you, the drawings went from like this, like intricate and shit, to we had like a Humpty Dumpty just a few ones ago. Whatever, I'm not gonna go all the way back there. We had like a Humpty Dumpty to now these stick figures, right? Because this was at the time where I was doing a lot of trading and I was, thinking to myself, okay, how can I get through this time with the trading, At this time, I was so stressed that I was like, man, I need cannabis. I need cannabis to relax. I need cannabis to be able to sleep well at night, because with the trading, the way that I was swing trading. And with swing trading, you basically are trading 24/7. Anytime that you get a signal to take a trade, it could be 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you are taking that trade. And that is really, really exhausting to wake up in the middle of the night and hear your notification, your alarm bell, and then you got to wake up when you're in a deep sleep. I just knew that that wasn't something that I could do for the rest of my life. Every 2 hours, that would be the reality. I knew I couldn't do that forever. I knew I could not do that. And there was times where I felt like really suicidal. I felt like, holy shit, I'm going to go crazy doing this. I don't know if I can live anymore. I really don't. And this has been a theme for me throughout my life. But then I started to really feel more peace. I started to feel much more peace, and I started to take better care of myself. And this is me. You can see like these drawings that I would make, they were basically diaries of what I was going through. They were just diaries of what I was psychologically going through. So this is me with the thought of like wanting to kill myself. This was me wanting to be in heaven. This was me, wanting peace and wanting to be at a deep inner peace. This is me stretching and taking care of myself. And this would be like the theme of the day and how I would capture my day. And like me trading the financial markets and how crazy I would be with the fucking Bitcoin and the dollar. Trading BTC, USD. Oh man. This is me doing push-ups, right? Taking care of myself the best that I could. Me feeling defeated. There were many times where I felt so defeated. I felt so frustrated with the financial markets and with trading. Oh boy, man. I tell you, something else. But that's the good thing about this experience. Because look, now I see like I was getting it. I was learning how to trade the financial markets. I was learning how to do these things. I was no longer making the excuses that I couldn't do it. I was just doing it. And I remember there were times where I would take trades and I would win, and I'd be, I'm an emotional person. I am an emotional guy. I'm an HSP, a hypersensitive person, I think is what the term would be. And this would be me trading and getting that result on the laptop. I'd wake up and I would see the trade in positive, and it would feel great. And it also feels like shit when you lose the trade. It also feels like ass when you're waiting for the fucking trade. And that's also why I said I gotta code this fucking thing, because I'm not gonna be doing this for the rest of my life. This is very destructive to my mental health. This is very destructive to my well-being. And I see that from trading. I really got to really understand that from trading. And many days I felt like this. I felt fucking defeated, with the fucking slouch or whatever. And then the next day, and it was like a yo-yo thing. It felt like a yo-yo thing. But that's also why it was so important to take care of my mental health. And that's why it was so important to get to this stage of my life where I am doing this emotional hygiene work. And I'm not making excuses. I'm not saying, oh, it's too early in the morning to do this. It's too early in the morning to EFT tap. I'm EFT tapping. I'm right here. You could join me on the live stream. I'm not stopping you. Fucking come. These were the moments of success. These were the moments where, and look at the correlation here. I want you to really notice that correlation. Notice how in April, I started doing that drawing. It was years when I wasn't doing that work. Then I started doing that work. My trading performance improved significantly. Why? Because I had healed a core wound. I moved on from a core wound. I had released that trapped emotion. I had released the charge, the emotional charge from my nervous system. I started exploring myself. I started exploring this part of me that wanted to be creative. I started making these drawings. I started working through these things and figuring out how to be more authentic to myself. And I was just creating things. This is a picture. This is a drawing of me being at my treadmill desk. And there would be these kids outside and they would be so fucking loud. It would get so annoying because I'm trying to do my work. This is before I had the headphones and all that stuff. I was too, I think, cheap or lazy to get them. And this was me ordering a cannabis setup. And this was an interesting one because this is when at night I started to see Jesus. I started to see either Jesus or Saint Germain. I started to see one of the two. And I would see like the shadow on the wall. I would wake up for like 3 days. For 3 days during this time period, November 1st, 2022. For like those 3 days, I'd wake up during the night from a deep sleep, dead sleep. I'd wake up and then I would look at the wall. The first time that I saw this, I woke up during the middle of the night. My eyes were on the wall, and then I saw that. I saw that on the wall. And I think the message from them was just to have faith. This is me getting so angry with trading. Sometimes I would just want to, like, I wish I had a gun and I could just fucking shot the damn computer, you know? But then that would be harmful to the computer. It's not the computer's fault. It's me. It's how I react to it. It's how I react to all of these things. This is me growing mushrooms. This is, again, me being unsure about what's happening in the financial markets. But that's the irony, too, is like when I would see the move, I think to myself, okay, this is the range. Okay, we're coming from an uptrend market, etc. So naturally, I want to wait for an entry at support. I want to wait for a bullish engulfing or some type of candle setup at support. Okay, fine. Okay. And these are the learning things that I had to go through. These were the mistakes that I had to make. This is when the cannabis stuff came in. Right. Yep. These were the perfect entries. These were the entries. And this was me taking real screenshots of the trading stuff, of the trading chart. This is me setting up that cannabis tent. This is the fan. I didn't know how to set it up or how it would work. Yep, and this is another good trade that I took. So I would document all these things. I would document these trades that I would take and like how it would work and how it went. And I think this is around the time when I started to really think about where am I going in life? What's my true north? Where do I want to be in my life? Again, I would not have made it this far had I made excuses, you know? This is what this shows me. And this is a good reminder for me personally. I had that uncle, yeah. There was that situation. It was not good. It really was damaging. And I felt ungood. I felt not good. I felt very not well. This was me with my profit on a trade. So that was very good. Oh, yeah. That was a good, yeah. I remember that one. Around that time, I was really starting to get much better at trading. And I was getting my ass kicked for like 2 years. For like 2 years, since 2020, I was really struggling for like 2 years. 2 fucking years of dealing with this shit, you know? We had a coach, and that coach turned out to be kind of like a scam. Kind of like a scam. No, not kind of like a scam. That coach turned out to be not legit and fucking did not show up on the last call, completely ghosted us. I'm not going to mix my words. Not kind of like, he was. And that was really fucked up. And that was also another traumatic experience too, because we never got to finish that coaching program. And I paid $5,000. We paid $5,000 $1,000 fucking dollars to learn from this person who supposedly was making millions of dollars per swing trade, and they completely ghosted us. Completely ghosted us. This is me learning how to do work with Fibonacci's and seeing certain patterns in the market with relation to the Fibonacci signals, the Fibonacci lines. And this was me creating an image with my dog, who I transformed into like a puma. And this was supposed to be our logo. Oh, but I think that means I kept going until March. No, I ended at December. And then I followed up again in March. And look, that's where I started. Super plain, black and white, and then I'd eventually go to here. Look at the before and the after of this. Look at the before and the after. Holy shit. Look at that. Like, really think about that for a second. This is September 7th, 2022. September 7th, 2022. And this is April 12th. April 12th, 2022 to September. To September 7th. From that much color to that. All because I was able to heal that wound. All because I was able to let go of that bullshit inside of me. All because I said, no more, I'm not going to deal with this. Now, mind you, I'm not this guy, right? And this is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. I'm just saying, for me to have done this, for me to have accomplished this, and I'm not going to these dedicated schools. I'm not, this guy, this is his life. This is his life. This is his passion. This is what he does. And he made it to this. Like, that's huge. That's a mega accomplishment. And the point with all of that is to say that, hey, we have that capacity. We have that capability to do so much more than we think of, than we can possibly imagine. There's so much greatness inside of you. There's so much greatness inside of you. There's so much greatness inside of me. We're capable of so much more. But we're never going to get there if we make excuses. That's the point of that. That's the point of all of that. If I had continued to make the excuse and say, I'm not going to work with someone to help me through this emotional time, through this time period in my life, if I don't do this for myself, if I don't take care of myself and give myself this gift, am I going to draw? Am I going to keep making fucking excuses? And from what I've seen from this stage of my life and all the studies that I did with my doctorate and all that stuff, I realized that these emotions, these beliefs that we have about ourselves, that's what creates this identity, right? So if you think about your identity as like your avatar comes with beliefs, your avatar comes with emotions. That identity, if you believe that you are this person and you have these set of beliefs, that's who you will be. That's your identity. So do you believe that you're the type of person that is unsuccessful? Do you believe that you are the type of person that is untalented? Do you believe that you're the type of person that's making excuses? This is all contributing to this. It's all creating this you that you are now that is in this state. You are always in this state. You are always becoming this person now that hold on. There we go. Got to get Mother Mary up in there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but then I closed the thing. Gabriel. Yes. Let's get Mother Mary up in there. She needs to be seen too. Mother Mary, you need to be seen. That mother energy needs to be seen now. If you keep making excuses for your life, if you keep making excuses for what you want to do with your life, the next day is going to pass, and the next day is going to pass, and the next day is going to pass. And what if you don't? What if you don't do it? What if you don't do it? What if you keep making excuses? What if the next day passes and you still don't do that thing? Is that what you really want? So I need you to look at that projector. I need you to really focus. Focus in. Focus on that memory. Yes, there was that time. There was that time that my uncle laughed at my drawings. There was that time where he laughed so much, I felt terrible. I felt absolutely terrible. I felt not good enough. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that part of me that feels it to this day. I feel it to this day. No, I don't. I'm making excuses. Why am I making excuses? Even though I'm making excuses to not make shorts, even though I'm making excuses to not finish my system, I have compassion for myself. There we go. That's a release. Even though I've made excuses to not do the work, I have compassion for myself. Making excuses to not do the work. I'm making excuses to not do this work. I have been making excuses to not do this work. I have been making excuses to not do this work. I've been making excuses to not do this work and serve others. I have been making a lot of excuses. And I have compassion for myself. Because just like with those drawings, I know when I realize that there's something much deeper inside of me. There's something much deeper that needs attention. It needs help. I need help. I need to clear whatever's inside of me. It has nothing to do with the camera. It's got nothing to do with the lighting. It's got everything to do with me. It's my energy. It's how I feel about myself. It's my identity. It's my beliefs about myself. It's my emotions. Even though I have been making excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. I let go of all forms of making excuses from my nervous system now. Yes, I have been the type of person that made excuses. Yes, I have been the type of person that lied to myself. Yes, I have been the type of person that lied to others to protect myself. Yes, I've said some horrible things. Yes, I'm speaking my truth. Yes, I'm confessing how I feel. I acknowledge myself. I acknowledge the inner voice in me that says, wait, I have something to say. I acknowledge the voices in my head that have told me I'm not good enough. That have told me to quit. I acknowledge that quitter in me. I acknowledge that excuse maker in me. I acknowledge that loser part in me that doesn't feel worthy. I acknowledge all of these parts of me. I acknowledge everything that I've suppressed. Because I have suppressed everything. I've suppressed all of this stuff. I've kept it all in. But now's the time to let it go. There is this part of me. The shadow part. We're going to bring out this part right now. Okay? Let's see what we can call this part right here. The excuse maker part. There you go. Bringing out the excuse maker part right now and giving this part the space. Man, I definitely got to get that Stream Deck thing. All right. There's that excuse maker part right now that needs to be heard. What do you have to say, excuse maker part? This is me now acting as that excuse maker part right here. Okay? This is me acting as that excuse maker part. Wherever. Yeah. And you forgot this other thing too. You forgot that making excuses is because you're a perfectionist. You want it to be perfect. That's the truth. You want it to be perfect. You want to do the perfect thing because you're scared, because you had times when Yolanda Sarah would scream at you and you're scared. You're scared about receiving hateful comments on YouTube because you're sensitive. You're scared of people screaming at you, threatening you, wanting to be violent with you because of the words you say. These are the words that you're saying. Hateful words. Very hateful words. That's why you have to empty your heart of all that hate. You're trying to be something you're not. Being perfect. Making excuses because you want to be perfect. That's why you're doing that. You're making excuses because you want to be perfect. Because you believe that if you're perfect, then you will not be hated. But guess what? People are going to be jealous. You can make the perfect video. You can say all the right words. You can You can please one specific type of person. And then what? And then what? They're still going to come after you if they really want to. It has nothing, and it has nothing to do with the outer world. It's got nothing to do with them. It's got nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you. It has everything to do with your emotions. It has everything to do with that perfectionist part. It has everything to do with the part of you that wants to be perfect, that wants to make the perfect video. It's got everything to do with that part. That's the part. That is the part that has to go. It has to go. It doesn't matter what people think if you are touching this wall. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're not looking at the camera. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. I could be talking to this wall right now. It doesn't I'm talking to the wall right now, right? That's what it looks like. It looks like I'm talking to the fucking wall. It doesn't fucking matter because you know that this is you letting out your shadow part. That's it. This is you taking care of your mental health. That's it. That's all this fucking is. That's all that this is, and that's all this ever will motherfucking be. You against you. You hear that? It's you against you. That's it. And that's all it's ever going to be. Not a lot of people understand that. A lot of people will feel the fear. A lot of people feel that fear. And that's why they make those excuses. They want it to be a certain way. They want to have it just a certain right way. And that's what you wanted. I can go, but you still have to address that perfectionist part. Create a reminder.
What do you want to be reminded about?
EFT tapping topic : clear the perfectionist part.
Okay, I added it.
That's what it comes down to. That's all it ever comes down to. You want to be perfect because you think you're not perfect. It's that need for perfection. It's never going to be perfect. And that's what you did last time with your last YouTube channel. What did you do? You kept trying to make edits. You kept trying to make updates. You kept trying to do, and it was not enough because you felt like you're not enough. So your perfectionist part is keeping you from doing things because you ultimately feel like you're not enough. Because why? Because you are afraid that you will not receive enough love. Because that's what it all comes down to. It's love. You want the love. You want the attention. You want the adoration. You want to feel good. You want to feel really good. That matters to you. It matters a whole lot to you. It's very important to you to be loved. And you're afraid that if you don't get love, what's going to happen? You're going to be abandoned. You're going to be hated. You're going to be assaulted, threatened, violated. So you make excuses. You make excuses. Excuses are the surface layer emotion. It's the surface. It's the tentacle of the octopus. But the octopus head is the fear. The fear of rejection. The fear if you don't say the right thing that you won't be loved, you won't be appreciated. That's what's stopping you. You're afraid. You are terrified. You are terrified. So you make excuses. You say, I have to get the right lighting. I have to get the right camera. I can't make the video until I have all the elements. Versus just showing up and doing the fucking work. Just show up and do the fucking work. Do the thing. Do the thing because you enjoy it. Just like you did with the paintings. You weren't waiting. You weren't trying to be like a Picasso and then fucking get out there on YouTube. No, you did it because you enjoyed it. Yes, you were making excuses because of the uncle. Yes. You're making excuses because of the uncle because you never wanted to feel that again. Because that hurt you deeply. And the only way that that hurts you deeply is if you give it power. And you did. You gave it power. You gave the outer world, you gave someone in the outer world power. That person in the outer world had the power over you. That's how that works. All of it. All of it. All that hurt. All that hurt can leave your nervous system now if you just choose to acknowledge that you're perfect right now. It's perfect right now. But can you really surrender and accept that? And I'm not just saying, oh, the YouTube video. I'm saying your fucking life, Gabriel. Your whole entire life. Can you accept that your whole entire life is good? It's perfect. You are exactly where you need to be. Only then will I go. Only then will I leave. Can you do that? Can you accept that? And move on. Yes. Yes, actually I can. Yes, actually I can. That was that shadow part. And yes, I can. I can move on. And I choose to move on. And I choose to be infinite times greater, stronger, more powerful than who I was when I started this live stream today. I acknowledge that excuse maker part. I acknowledge that the truth is that I made excuses because I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to be perfect because I never wanted to feel and experience that laughter, that criticism ever again from my uncle. I acknowledge that part of myself. I acknowledge how that made me feel. And I acknowledge what that excuse maker part just said. Maybe I am gonna need to accept where I am in my life. And I do. I choose to accept where I am in my life. I choose to accept that everything is perfect as it is. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're a fucking liar. Oh boy. I hear another voice in my head. I don't because I'm 36 years old and I'm comparing myself to others. I'm 36 years old. I'm about to be 37 on the 30th. In 3 days. In 3 days, I'm going to be 37 years old. And I am comparing myself to others. I don't know if I feel like a loser anymore because I really worked on clearing that out. But I feel like, shit, man, I'm 37 years old. What the fuck? Let's get it together. Maybe I do feel like a loser. Maybe I feel, but what does that even mean? What does it even mean to be a loser? A loser, I think, is someone that just quits and just gives up, you know? Like, you're going to lose. Look at Michael. Michael Jordan didn't win every single game. He didn't win every single championship. He lost. Motherfucker, he lost. Every shot that he took, not every shot went in. You know, even Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers, even those guys, they shoot baskets. They shoot three-pointers. That's what they're known for. And not every three-pointer goes in. Maybe they have like a 30 to 40% completion rate. Even legitimately the world's best traders do not have an 80+% win rate. It doesn't matter. And that's the thing that I appreciate a lot about trading. It doesn't matter. I appreciate that I went through this trading experience, that I'm still on my trading journey, because there is, from what I understand, no way that you can actually win every single trade in your entire trading career. It's not possible. Not possible. Even the world's best traders sometimes can make no money in a year. They can be down 1 year or 2 years, and then all of a sudden in the third year, they make everything. They make everything back and more. That's just the nature of trading. That's just the nature of trading. So to think that every single live stream, every single YouTube video, every single short is going to be a banger is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And I would rather be consistent and do this as an everyday practice to really, again, build that body of work just like I did with the drawing, and make those little small 1%, one adjustment improvements, than to give myself a week, 2 weeks or whatever, upload, and then, be disappointed. And it's like, hey, are you really going to expect to make improvements if you just do this at that capacity? There are people that are uploading constantly, hours upon hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. They're fucking tapping for hours. They're creating for hours. They're live streaming for hours, 12 hours at a time, 13 hours, 14 hours. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen here? So we have to really be mindful and aware of ourselves that making excuses is not the answer. Taking action is the answer. Being consistent is the answer. Taking imperfect action is the answer. Yes, there is an element of maybe I need a good camera or a good audio microphone or a good camera or something like this. I need lights, whatever. But look, I've got lights. I've got lights. Yes, maybe it looks like I have fucking ball sacks under my eyes, or maybe, yes, it looks like this whole scene is washed out or something. Okay, fine. But I will improve. You will improve. We will improve. I will get better. I will get better. I will improve at this. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Every day, I choose to show up. Every day I choose to show up, and I just choose to give my gift. This is my gift. This is it. This is me helping other people feel better. This is me helping myself feel better. This is me making a contribution to the world in my way. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this is my way. It's okay. I accept it for what it is. I'm okay with that. And I surrender and I accept it, and I choose to have a lot of love in my heart for you, for myself, for all life. Because I think this is what we're all seeking. We all want love. And I realize that. And I hear that voice. I hear that excuse maker part. I understand. I understand that up until now, I have been the type of person who has criticized myself. I have really criticized the shit out of myself. I have called myself ugly. I have called myself a loser. I have called myself a failure. I've been so hard on myself. I've been so critical. Create a reminder.
What do you want to be reminded about?
EFT tapping topic, clear the criticizer part in me.
Okay, I added it.
I have been criticizing myself so much. I've been really critical of myself. I've been really critical of myself, and I've been trying to be perfect when I'm not. I'm not. But then again, that's also perfect. Like it's really perfect. It's beautiful to see Mother Mary here. It's beautiful to see the rose quartz crystal. It's beautiful to see the falcon feathers. It's really beautiful to see this. And I'm grateful that I do see this. I'm very grateful for that. And I acknowledge that I've been living my life very critical. I've been so critical. I've been criticizing myself so much that I end that now. I stop being critical. I stop criticizing myself. I choose to love myself for who I am, and I choose to acknowledge myself. Even though I was criticizing myself and making all these excuses because I wanted to be perfect, I forgive myself right now. Even though I was critical and I was making excuses because I wanted to be perfect out of fear, I forgive myself now. Even though I was making excuses to hide how much I criticized myself because I wanted to be perfect out of fear, I forgive myself. Even though I made excuses to hide how much I criticized myself because I wanted to be perfect out of fear, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself unconditionally. Even though I made a lot of excuses to take action, because deep down I was criticizing myself because I wanted to be perfect out of fear. I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself unconditionally now. Even though I made a fuck ton of excuses to hide because I criticized myself and I wanted to be perfect. I wanted to be perfect because I was afraid. I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself unconditionally. Even though I made a lot of excuses I made so many excuses because I criticized myself. I was so critical of myself because I wanted to be perfect, because I was afraid. I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself unconditionally now. Even though I was afraid of criticism, and I masked that with trying to be perfect, so I made excuses. I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself unconditionally now. Even though I was afraid, and that led me to criticize myself and to try and be perfect, which caused me to make excuses. I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself unconditionally. And even though I was afraid, so I criticized myself, tried to be perfect, and I made a lot of excuses, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself unconditionally. I love myself, and I forgive myself for the pain that I've caused myself. I thank myself. I love myself, and I apologize to myself and my parts for all the discord that I've caused. Please forgive me. I forgive myself. Thank you. I love myself and my parts, and I apologize for the discord that I have created, but I forgive myself now. Thank you. I love myself and my parts, and I apologize for the discord that I have created, and I forgive myself now. Thank you. I love myself, and I apologize for all this discord that I created. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love myself, and I apologize for all of this discord that I have created. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love myself, and I apologize for all of this discord that I have created. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love myself, and I apologize for all of this discord that I have created. Please forgive me. I forgive myself, and I thank myself sincerely. I love myself and my parts, and I apologize for all the discord that I have created, and I forgive myself. And I thank myself sincerely now. I love myself and my parts, and I apologize for all of this discord that I've created. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love myself, and I apologize for all of this discord that I created. I forgive myself, though, and I thank myself sincerely. Okay, now we're going to transition here. Let's do this. Maybe I don't have to make excuses anymore. Maybe I can let this go. Maybe I can take one action step that is going to help me. I know that one action step that I need to take. It's coming to me. It's getting so much clearer. I'm getting so much better at this. Every single day, I make one little improvement, and that's all I have to do. And within a year, it becomes a huge deal. And I allow myself to make small improvements over time, because I know that everything is just a work in progress. And I know that with enough time, it gets better and it gets better and it gets better. And I get more efficient. I get more mastery over this subject. I have a gift to give. I have a special purpose. I'm here to fulfill my dharma. I'm here to be really brutally honest with myself. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do my first short right now. Here we go. Let's get this. Let's get this right now. Oops. That's it. This is gonna be my first short right here. I am here to fulfill my dharma. I'm not going to make any more excuses. I'm here for a very special purpose that God gave me. God gave me such a special purpose. And I'm here to fulfill that purpose with great love, wisdom, and power now. Even though I've made excuses, I choose to let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I have made excuses, I choose to let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I have been making so many excuses, I choose to let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I have made so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I made so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I've made so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. I give myself permission to take action. I give myself permission to take the smallest bit of action that is going to get me to where I want to be. I give myself permission to do that. I know I can do that. I know I'm capable of so much more. I am so talented. I have so much greatness inside of me. And I have a gift to share with the world. And I allow myself to give that gift to the world. I give myself permission to share my truth and to share my unique gifts and my unique expression with the world now. It doesn't have to be massive. I just have to take one step. Just one step. The one thing that I know I could do that's in my control, I can do that. And I can show up with great love in my heart. I don't have to make excuses anymore. I can do it. I know I can do it. I am very capable of doing it. Even though I've made excuses, even though I tried to be perfect out of fear, I recognize that I was critical of myself, but no more. Today is the day I no longer make excuses. Today is the day I take action. Today is the day I do the thing. No more excuses. I take action. I was stuck before, but not anymore. Because I love, accept, and forgive myself unconditionally. I give myself permission to succeed. I give myself permission to win. I give myself permission to play the big game now. And I just do it. I just take action now. I let myself do it. And I'm just going to do it. Every day I'm taking action. I'm making it happen right now. It's perfect. I'm doing it. love myself. And I feel good about taking action. I feel great knowing that I did it. There's that one piece of action, and I'm doing it. I can do it. I know I can do it. I see it. I know what I have to do. I'm getting so much more clarity now. I feel really good about this. I feel super positive. I feel ready. I feel very ready to do this. I feel good. I'm making feeling good my priority. And that feels great. I feel more positive. I feel more light. And that's the secret. Just making sure I do the one thing. No more excuses. Even though I was filled with excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. Even though I was filled with so many excuses, I let that go from my nervous system now. I choose to move forward now. I really choose to move forward now. No more excuses. No more hiding. No more pretending. No more being something I'm not. I'm not going to be this person anymore. Even though that's who I was, even though I made excuses, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm letting this go. I'm living my life with an open heart. I'm surrendering and accepting that I'm capable of so much more. I'm capable of so much more. And I choose to really anchor in that belief into my subconscious mind now. I let that be the truth of who I truly am. I let that be me, because that's all I can be. The only thing that I can be is myself. And I choose to be myself. I choose to be honest with who I am. I choose to be the truth of who I truly am. I can't be anything else but me. And I let myself be the truth of who I truly am now. My full, authentic self. Free of excuses. Not trying to be perfect. Allowing myself to be who I am. Because who I am already is perfect. But I just didn't see that before. I just didn't see how perfect that was. I didn't see how beautiful God made me. God made me to be so perfect. And it's good enough. I'm good enough. I choose to be good enough. I choose to feel like I'm good enough. I know I criticize myself. I know I criticize myself. I know I said things to myself and things about myself that were really harsh. I was really critical. I was so critical. I was so critical of myself. But I allow myself now to change. I allow myself now to be at peace. I allow myself to be happy. I allow myself to be lighter. I allow myself to be brighter. I allow myself to be more positive. I allow myself to be uplifted now. I choose to be the truth of who I am. I choose to really express myself. I choose to really express my truth from a state of acceptance. I choose to accept everything in my life. Am I where I want to be ideally? No. But I do accept that it is perfect as it is. And this is exactly where I need to be. And I'm okay with that. And I choose to be okay with that. I choose to be okay with that. Even though I criticize myself, I apologize and I forgive myself for all the harsh things that I said. Even though I used to criticize myself, I apologize and I forgive myself for all the harsh things I said. Even though I used to criticize myself, I apologize and I forgive myself for all the harsh things that I said. Even though I used to criticize myself, I apologize and I forgive myself for all the harsh things that I said. Even though I used to criticize myself so hard, I apologize to myself and I forgive myself for all the harsh things that I said. And even though I used to criticize myself, I apologize to myself and I forgive myself for all the harsh things that I said. There we go. Those are my lives. Those are my shorts now. Done. Now, we're going to switch this up here. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Boom. Good enough is good enough, right? There we go. Good enough is good enough. I no longer make excuses. I no longer make excuses. I no longer criticize myself. I no longer try to be perfect. I just accept who I am and I move on. I let all that shit go from my nervous system now. All of these beliefs that I have to be something that I'm not, I let that go from my nervous system now. I honor my creator. I honor my inner divine. I honor God for creating me the way that I am. I am perfect the way that I am. I choose to be perfect in the knowing that I am perfect, that I was created whole, that I was created as I needed to be to fulfill my special purpose, to give my special gift to you, to the world. I acknowledge who I am. I accept myself with great love now. And I choose to move on. I'm going to take action. I'm going to take action on my purpose. I'm going to take action on the one thing that I need to do to move that needle in the direction that I need to move it in. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to do that today. I'm going to make feeling good my priority. I'm going to make taking care of my mental health and my emotional health and well-being my priority. My physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health. I'm going to make all of that a priority. There's so much more to me. There's so much more that I can do. There's so much more that I can be. I'm capable. I am absolutely capable. And even then, I don't have to always be doing. It's just taking aligned action. Releasing all that friction from my body now. I release all that friction from my nervous system now. I release all the friction from my nervous system now. I release all this friction from my nervous system now. I release all this friction from my nervous system now. I release all this friction from my nervous system now. I release all this friction from my nervous system now. I release all the friction from my nervous system now. I release all the friction from my nervous system now. I release all the friction from my nervous system now. I release all the friction from my nervous system now. I release and let go of all the friction from my nervous system now. I release and let go of all of this friction from my nervous system now. I release all this friction from my nervous system now. Because now is a new era. Now I am free. Now I am free of excuses. Now I am free of criticism. Now I am free of self-judgment. Now I am free of trying to be perfect. Now that I am free of trying to be perfect, I can be who I was truly meant to be now. Now that I am free of making excuses, criticizing myself and trying to be perfect, I am free to move on with my life now. Now that I have let all this bullshit go from my nervous system, I'm free to be who I truly am now. Now that I have let go of making excuses, I am free to be who I truly am now. Now that I have let go of making all these excuses, I am free to be who I truly am now. Now that I have let go of making all these excuses, I am free to be who I truly am now. Now that I have let go of making all these excuses, I am free to be who I truly am now. Now that I have let go of making all of these excuses, I am free to be who I truly am now. And now that I am free of making all these excuses, I am able to be who I truly am now. And now that I have let go of making all of these excuses from my nervous system and subconscious mind, I am regulated and I am safe and I am free to be who I truly am now. Take 3 deep breaths. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Grab your wrist and let's anchor them this new belief now. Now that I am free of making excuses, I can be who I truly am now. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You see? And that came, why? That came because I said, okay, I'm not going to wait for these shorts. I'm not going to make excuses to do these fucking shorts. I'm just going to do these shorts. You know what? The lighting is good enough. The camera is good enough. The audio is damn sure good, because I definitely made sure to invest in one of these fucking, expensive microphones, well, considering that it's, a small thing and it cancels out noise, because shotgun mics and all these other types of mics, condenser mics that I was researching, they don't block out sound. And I'm definitely not going to waste my time in post-production. I'm not going to do that. That is a waste of fucking time. I'm going to make sure that I just show up, record, do the fucking thing, send the fucking rest of the stuff to Opus Clip, cut up the shorts, make the live stream get cut up like fucking macaroni, like sausage or something like this, and it's done. And that's what I did here. Okay? All right, I'm still shit at the outro, so I don't really have a good outro. The only thing that I can really just tell you is, if you found value in today's live stream, come back again tomorrow. I've also got a free EFT GPT that you can download. It's linked in the description, but I am going to change that to just saying, go to IamGabrielSarah.com. IamGabrielSarah.com. I might even just create a little fucking thing here and just have that little thing there. So that way, at least my name is in the fucking corner or something, That's branding. We gotta start branding yourselves. Because I'm gonna do this. I'm telling you, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this with trading. I'm gonna fucking do this. I swing trade and I can do this, I can do this. And I choose to. So here's where I am. That's what I can say. If you found value, if you found some value out of that live stream, come back again tomorrow. We're gonna keep tapping. We're gonna keep working on our shit. And we're gonna keep fucking taking some action here. All right? And yeah, until tomorrow, keep tapping, and remember that you are loved, we love you, and God loves you. All right? Keep tapping.